Frank Stallone reacts to the new Sylvester Stallone biopic, quote, I play Rocky casting, and tells me exclusively that he'll have plenty to say. Before we get into that, why don't you go ahead and hit like and subscribe? I'm Lauren Conlin from Los Angeles Magazine. This is your pop culture, scandal, and crime news of the day. I had a pretty busy day yesterday, and part of my day was speaking to the lovely Grammy nominated Frank Stallone, who is the older brother of Sylvester Stallone. And Frank is great. Frank has composed music that was in Rocky in the movie Staying Alive. I don't know if you know this song. It's called Far From Over. It's one of my favorites, and that's from Staying Alive. But I spoke to him amid the recent casting release of the biopic that's called I Play Rocky. And this movie is essentially about Sylvester Stallone getting this title role of Rocky, writing it and realizing that he's got to play it. He goes from struggling actor to just an iconic legend. And it was revealed that, and by the way, Amazon and MGM, or I guess I should say MGM, which is owned by Amazon, is producing the film. And a young actor named Anthony Ippolito is playing Sly Stallone. And Anthony Ippolito is best known for his role as Al Pacino in the limited series The Offer. Now, the casting I'm talking about in particular that got Frank Stallone's attention was the casting of Matt Dillon as their father, Frank Stallone Sr. And Frank Stallone kind of said, look, I love Matt Dillon. He's a great actor, really nice guy. I'm just really curious about this casting because, nobody seems to have contacted me about this, and this is my family. He didn't mention if they contacted Sly at all, but he just said, how is he going to portray my father without really knowing anything about him other than what people have written? He also wanted to know, is someone playing my mother? Who is this actor playing my mother? Who is going to play me? He said that, he will reserve his judgment for when he sees the film and he'll have plenty to say. He also added that he had nothing against the project. It might be good. He just really wants the actor portrayals to be authentic to his family's legacy, which I can totally understand. He also kind of added, in a playful way, he's like, I don't really know why they're making this. Everyone knows the story, but, we'll see. Anyway, I am a big fan of Frank Stallone's music, and you can check out that entire article at lamag.com. Now, another part of my very busy day was interviewing the showrunner, Nancy Schwartzman, behind the new Hulu docuseries Death in Apartment 603, What Happened to Ellen Greenberg. And this three-part docuseries really dives into the 2011 very mysterious and tragic death of 27-year-old Philadelphia teacher Ellen Greenberg, who was found inside her apartment with 20 stab wounds that were determined, and she was found by her fiance, by the way. These stab wounds were determined to be self-inflicted. So her death was ruled a suicide. It was actually changed from red rum initially, and then it was changed to a suicide. And there are so many things wrong with this case, so many things wrong with the investigation. I mean, the fact that investigators pretty much took her fiance's word for it initially when they walked in, and he's like, I think she stabbed herself. She was depressed. They're like, oh, okay. I mean, you have to watch it. And obviously you have to read my article at lamag.com to really see what Nancy has to say. But the city of Philadelphia on October 13th, they had agreed previously to reopen Ellen's case. And, her parents are fighting for justice, and they have been since 2011. And they literally re-ruled her death once again as a suicide. And this is despite overwhelming scientific evidence that should indicate, if anything, at the very least, her death should be ruled as undetermined or, deferred. Anything but a conclusive manner of death. It's crazy. So I speak with Nancy. She is just beyond shocked at this ruling. She's devastated. And she also goes into more about how the medical examiner didn't just go off of this tangible scientific evidence. He starts talking about Ellen's mental health. And, the Greenbergs are sitting there, people are sitting there, and they're like, this shouldn't matter at this very moment when you have a stack of forensic and scientific evidence pointing to other things. All of the noise and circumstantial stuff, that shouldn't matter in this moment because of what they had turned over to the medical examiner and what was there. So Nancy tells me at this point, the Greenbergs are looking into an outside investigation, bringing in outside people, because I just don't think at this point the city of Philadelphia can be trusted to really look into this. And I mean, from the start, everything was just not done accordingly. I mean, Ellen's devices were taken by her fiance's uncle, who was a lawyer. He had them in his possession. They had a crime scene cleanup crew come and clean up the apartment immediately. I mean, there was missing surveillance footage. It was just, it's a mess. It's a total mess, and it's incredibly heartbreaking. And again, I encourage everybody to watch the docuseries, but also go and read my article, lamag.com. Lastly, Mark Sanchez had a hearing, and it was the most anticlimactic hearing I've seen in a long time. I spent more time looking for it. I'm not kidding, on a stream than it was in length. It was about 5 minutes long. I spent about 10 minutes looking for it because it was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Eastern. It was about 10 or 15 minutes late. But as I mentioned, cameras were allowed in the courtroom, so I was able to watch it via stream through the local Fox affiliate, which is Fox 59. I'll pull this up right here. This is a Twitter post that I made, and this is literally the extent of the hearing. They went over scheduling that, we can see right there on the docket. They said the next hearing is December 2nd. Most likely Mark Sanchez will not be in attendance. And his attorney, Tim Delaney, he thanked, this was just kind of like the last little bit of the hearing. He thanked Judge James B. Osborne for allowing Sanchez to skip this hearing and subsequently the next one. He said, quote, "Thank you for allowing our client to be excused today. He is still recovering from his injuries." And I knew he wasn't going to be there. I mean, or I guess I assumed as much because the docket literally says attorneys only. But I think that was pretty much the headline that one could grab from this hearing because it was so uneventful. I thought at least there would be some kind of discovery going on. We would see something or hear something, but no. I've also thought about this as well. I am not certain that at this point this case will go to trial. I mean, I think that Sanchez's attorneys, because he doesn't have a criminal record, they possibly could work on some kind of deal with the prosecution. I've mentioned this before. Marion County is very busy, so I'm sure they would welcome any opportunity to get a case sort of off their plate. But who knows? They might want to make an example of Mark Sanchez because this was pretty heinous, allegedly. If in fact, everything is as is and what was caught on camera with this 69-year-old man, if that happened, then yeah, I can see them saying, nope, you don't. And I think the prosecutor said this, you don't come into our city and do stuff like this. We don't take it sitting down. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching your daily pop culture, scandal, and crime news. I'll be back tomorrow with more updates.